I did everything right and they indicted me.
Oh boy, did they. We're talking about the indictments, obviously. I've been dying to talk about the indictments, but before we dive into all the details, it's here. This is the one. This is the biggest one I assume that he'll ever face. He's facing many indictments. You're probably like, it's Wednesday, surely he's being indicted. And I get that. And the other crimes are serious. The violation of campaign finance with the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. The accusations he's facing from E. Jean Carroll, the classified documents, and soon to come Fulton County. But this is the biggest one. Donald Trump is now indicted. He's been indicted, a 45-page indictment for his multifaceted scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 election. It is being pitched because it is a direct assault on the core of American governance, our ability to determine who our leaders are and to have our votes actually count for what little they're allowed to count for under the normal status quo of elections. And so overall, he is being charged with a number of criminal conspiracies. One, to defraud the United States. A second, to obstruct an official government proceeding, the certification of the Electoral College vote, obviously. And a third, to deprive people of a civil right, the right to have their votes counted. He was also, by the way, charged with a fourth count of obstructing or attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. Now, that is what he's being charged with, and we're gonna dive into what that means, what that could lead to, what the evidence is. But before that, I'm going to waste 10 seconds of your life by pointing out what he is not being charged with. And I say this is a waste of time because every single MAGA head in the world will pretend that this is what he is being charged with, but he's not. He's not being charged for his statements about the election. He's certainly not being charged for his thoughts about the election, saying that the election was rigged. That's not what he's being charged for. It doesn't charge him for his early legal efforts to overturn the results of the election, even though he knew at that point that he had legitimately lost. In fact, the indictment goes out of its way to say all of that is perfectly fine. It says the defendant has a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the election and even to claim falsely that there have been outcome determinative fraud during the election and that he had won. He's also entitled to formally challenge the results of the election through lawful and appropriate means, such as by seeking recounts or audits of the popular vote. He did all of these. He did the many lawsuits. It did not help him. As they say, these efforts were uniformly unsuccessful. So when you hear right wingers saying he is being charged as a violation of his free speech rights or for saying something or fighting vigorously, no, he's not being charged with any of those things. He's being charged with specific actions designed to put forward these conspiracies in those specific areas that don't have anything to do with thought, anything to do with speech. They have to do with the actual mechanisms of the transfer of power. So we're gonna dive into all this, but Francesca, what do you make of the fact that we're now launching into this thing? This is the big one, the big kahuna.
Yeah, I mean, good. This is the one where he tried to steal all of our votes, right? He tried to steal the American people's democracy. He tried to undermine our right to determine our leader. That's it, right? As much as that leader is Joe Biden. Can you imagine being that upset about Joe Biden being president? But there they were on January 6th, and this is crucially the one that he's got to get nailed for. Like truly, if we want to prevent this from ever happening again, this needs to happen, and he needs to be indicted for this. Yeah, he can try to run for president again somehow. But this is the one where the criminality, I think, matters for each and every single American, even the ones who voted for him. It is a little scary that it's like you can say whatever you want about the election because, and I'm curious to see exactly how Jack Smith parses that in terms of like the incitement to violence, a certain amount of violence, or we're gonna march down to the Capitol. It seems like he didn't even need that. All he needed was what he has proven, and we'll get into exactly what.
Yeah. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.